Now, I know you're wondering why I called you here tonight. I tell you what, now I might just be a simple country detective, Poirot-esque figure that is now being televised on your formerly silver screens, but we're here to solve a mystery. Now, I know I mentioned the donut a couple movies back, and we're back to talk about the donut. This is the same skit we did for Glass Onion, but I'm doing it again because the bit about the donut and the donut hole inside itself actually having another donut makes me laugh a lot. It's one of my favorite bits from the Knives Out movies, so you bet your sweet candy ass we're gonna come back to that skit time and time again.
Benoit frickin' Blanc and I are gonna ask you all some questions, and you're gonna answer them. We're gonna get to the bottom of who killed Monsignor Wicks and why, and then that's it.
Now, who wants to go first?
And today we have Wake Up, Dead Man. There's not really like a comma there or anything. I'm kind of just, it's, you think as you read it, that's just kind of how it comes across, right? Technically it's Wake Up, Dead Man, but to me, I don't know, it seems more fitting to say Wake Up, Dead Man. He's back, holy shit. It's been what, 3-4 months? Let's not look back to see how long it's been. I need to be better about this. 2026, I'm committing myself to like trying to review every new release I see throughout the entirety of the year. I think I just started falling behind in 2025 between all the movies that were coming out and all the content creation I'm leaning in towards, which is more of the what you guys want is a lot of reaction content. But now that I have an audience that's been growing slowly and slowly, people are still concerned about what I have to think about movies. Part of why I started doing the channel in the first place. Plus, I can officially announce as of this video, I'm officially part of the Music City Film Critics Association. I'm officially a critic now. So they're holding me accountable because they're like, if you want to keep that title, you got to make at least 12 reviews a year. So what a great way to kick off the first in what's going to be hopefully hundreds hundreds of movie reviews going forward, and then to review a film that I was lucky enough to be able to see in a theater on the silver screen, you know, with Netflix be damned, then the latest and honestly greatest entry in the Knives Out series, franchise, etc., etc. As of recording this, the movie is not yet on Netflix. It got a very limited theatrical run. I saw this the day after Thanksgiving. It officially hits on December 12th, which as I'm recording this is less than 10 days away. So before we get too far into the meat and potatoes of it all, if you don't know, Wake Up Dead Man is directed by Rian Johnson, a man who I think at this point, I think the hate has mostly died down. Not to say that he gets a lot of hate, but ever since The Last Jedi, he certainly seems to get more than he used to. I like The Last Jedi a lot, personally. I'm a big fan of his work. He's done the first 2 Knives Out movies. We have Knives Out, as well as Glass Onion. I went back on my channel. I know for a fact I reviewed Glass Onion. He also did a lesser known, but still really incredibly well done science fiction thriller called Looper. I cannot recommend it enough. Great movie. Great time. So this is Rian Johnson's latest in the Knives Out, what's now a trilogy. And as far as he's made us aware, he wants to keep making more. I'm 100% here for it. Whether it's Knives Out or whether it's the Hercule Poirot movies a la Kenneth Branagh and company with the Murder on the Orient Express, Death on the Nile, or Haunting in Venice. I love these movies. If you know the series, you know well our leading detective, played by Daniel Craig, who again, he loves this character, Benoit Blanc as it were, but you can tell he always has such a fun time doing it. And then as the secondary protagonist in this, we have arguably ever since Challengers really propelled him up there, we have Josh O'Connor, who again, I mean, I've seen very few of his performances in film, but I've never seen a bad one. You know, honestly, each of these movies is turning into a who's who of Hollywood big shots, classics, new blood, old blood. Side note here, by the way, I love seeing Mila Kunis in a serious role. And also, dude, Sandman himself, Thomas Hayden Church. Anyway, Wake Up Dead Man. I've made no small thing about how I love these movies, like really just any whodunit murder mystery, whether it's Agatha Christie or whether it's these Rian Johnson joints. Formulaic though they may be, well designed, directed, shot, acted, and presented, they certainly are as well. I remember distinctly enjoying Knives Out back in the day. I really enjoyed it. Glass Onion, I looked back, I gave that one a 5 out of 5. Now, would it still be a 5 out of 5 to this day? Maybe, maybe not. I said it was damn near perfect. In this movie, a strange thing occurred, which is I came out of it and I also love this one. Although I do have like a minor note / nitpick of sorts, even though I'd have a note or two more than Glass Onion, I think I still enjoyed it more than Glass Onion. It's for me the John Wick effect, a hot take, but for every John Wick movie that came out, I liked the next one more than the previous one. And I think with the Knives Out mysteries, I love them all, don't get me wrong, but I think that with every subsequent Knives Out film, I've liked it more and more, just personally speaking. Positives first, as always. I love how others aside from Daniel Craig basically stole the show. And although I said also here, to be fair, each movie kind of does this. Arguably, almost the entire first act of this film, barely any of Benoit Blanc, of Daniel Craig's character. It's Josh O'Connor taking center stage to set the stage for the murder mystery that's ahead of us, and it works. Like any lesser actor perhaps, or someone who's more egotistical, might demand a franchise and demand screen time and presence. And don't get me wrong, often Benoit Blanc is the smartest man in the room, but even in this movie, although he may be the smartest, is he the most morally justified? That's called into question in this one, and I like that a lot. Different people in each movie get a chance to shine in their respective roles, never overshadowed by Benoit Blanc, but by the end of it, he does kind of help to bring it all in together to solve the overarching mystery. So I had a similar sentiment to Heretic that I had about this movie, but I like the balance between atheistic ideologies, but also more like theological ideology. Because of course you have Benoit Blanc, who, being a man of logic, science, a natural-born skeptic, because he solves mysteries. He sees through the smoke and mirrors. So he's a man of science, a man of facts, and a man of knowing that most of all that exists out there has been invented by people, for people. There's always somebody behind the curtain.
Hard to be in here and not feel his presence.
Whose? Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
But then you have Josh O'Connor's character, who is a man of faith, devout man of faith, in it for the right reasons, I would argue. A flawed man inherently, but that's kind of like the best kind. But there's many conversations had between each of them, but also other characters in the movie. Normally a movie like this might take a side and say, oh, God is real and all of this is under that domain, or oh, there is no God and all of this is just human interaction and all this. I think Rian Johnson does a good job of kind of writing a story for us that very clearly shows what our characters' belief systems are, and perhaps even what Johnson's views are himself, while still showing you the facts of the case and acknowledging the reality of the situation. It's never disrespectful to religion per se, maybe for like a little laugh here or there, but it's all in good fun and good humor. It respectfully addresses the skeptic and the devout and has conversations in and around that. We got out and a friend of mine even was like, man, I might actually be converting after this. It's honestly very emotionally intense and inspiring. You understand his character's plight, and you can really easily empathize or sympathize if you're not a man of faith, like moi, But it is a really good mystery. A compelling, classic, impossible case. How could somebody be killed behind a locked door in a separate room type of deal? But this, and it's all just executed and tackled really well. I've liked the direction in all the Knives Out movies. This one is no exception. I think Rian Johnson does a very good job behind the camera. The movie was very engaging. It was shot very well. Nothing too crazy going on, but there was some decent, fancy camera work here and there and some great shots and some enthralling moments. A bit on the nose sometimes with the lighting, but it works for me. It's dramatic lighting, it's very purposeful, and you can tell it's very scripted at times, especially in that church, but it works for me, and it worked with the scenes, and I really enjoyed it. For being literally the longest Knives Out mystery movie by a few minutes, great pacing for a 2.5 hour long film, give or take. And that's a mark of a good movie in my book, is when you don't feel the length that much. I didn't figure out every single little detail of the plot, but I figured out who at least one of the big main players was in this narrative. And then as soon as some other dialogue dropped later on, I figured out one of the other kind of like twists about it. I figured out more of this than I did Glass Onion. But that being said, there were still some surprises. It was still a fun journey overall, even if I had a feeling I knew what was going on more or less. They acknowledge inspiration from classic murder mystery novellas and whatnot. So it's really cool to see that literally it's a reimagining, a reinterpretation, a modern telling of classic murder mysteries. The only negatives that I really had to say, I said there's almost too many characters, but they just barely balance it all. And the more that I thought about it, the more that I thought, like, I think just about every character who matters to the plot and who's part of this suspects, basically, I think everybody's balanced pretty well, but admittedly there are characters that are balanced more than others. I think every character has a moment to kind of shine in a scene, at least one or two scenes, but some characters are definitely given preferential treatment. So I think there's almost too many characters. Big names were cast, but they felt almost a little bit ancillary. I almost want to walk it back because every character, even every side character that's involved in this murder mystery, they do have agency of their own, and they are definitely like their own character. They have very distinct personalities and grievances and drives of their own. They have their own agency. So can't fault it too much. The third act became this series of one revelation after another. It works and I loved it. You could look at it glass half empty and say it prolonged the third act and made it feel like, oh my God, so how many more reveals are we gonna have? How many more surprise are we gonna have? I chose to look at it in a positive light. Just when you think you've got it solved, or just when you think you've run out of rope here, there's actually more, and there are more answers, and there's more to solve and answer. And then it was this, and then I pulled the curtain off at that, and there was a guy behind the door over here, but then it turns out there was this over there. Like, it almost did a little bit too much, but I'm also biased, so I'm okay. But I'm cognizant enough to realize that there's still a couple minor gripes and nitpicks. If you liked Knives Out and or Glass Onion, you 100% will like and or love Wake Up Dead Man. I'd very much recommend it. I think even if you haven't seen the first two movies, I mean, you don't have to see them in order. I would still recommend this. It's a really good movie. If you like a nice whodunit murder mystery with a bunch of who's who of actors of old and current Hollywood. Just want a fun little mystery time, basically. All that being said, I would give Wake Up Dead Man a low 5 out of 5. Like, I think a low 5 out of 5. Damn near perfect. Again, I'm very biased. I like this franchise a lot. I really hope Rian Johnson keeps making more Knives Out mysteries, and from what it sounds like, he has no plans on stopping. So check it out. They always seem to come out during the holiday season. This one is definitely like, it feels just kind of holiday-y. Recommend for sure. Like, give it a watch. As always, thank you guys and gals so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on the gram and such. Otherwise, I stream live on Twitch and YouTube now simultaneously, so catch live streams of any video games that myself and or my partner and I try to play. And I finally have a letterbox. I update the most frequently with my current movies that I go see. In the meantime, thank you guys and gals so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode of whatever movie I review. I'm gonna see myself out. So I say now, goodbye, travelers.